So I was making the video of Saito's reaction to the new PP rework proposal, and I figured I should do a small explanation at the start so that everyone understands what the PP rework would do. And I thought, hey, my fellow Osu YouTuber and Yab Code, aka Kapnoyr, must have made a good video on it already. So I can just tell people to go watch his video to understand how it works. But before that, I watched the video myself just in case, and boy am I glad I did. In this video, I will go through his video and give a bit of objectively right contradiction, but also my opinion on the rework. So at the start of this video, he just explains what the PP rework contains, what they're gonna change, like medium spacing flow aim and angular aim. It has like a lot of text on top of the page, but I would recommend you to go through it because it's really not that much. They just give examples of map that gets nerfed and examples of maps that might get a slight buff. So really check it out yourself. It is really not complicated.
My first impression when I saw these nerfs, I was like, damn, that's a pretty big nerf. Even though Sidetracked Day is, like, we don't even know if it's overweighted or not, but like, for the top...
We know it's overrated. We just know it's overrated. I don't know if you just like blurted that out, but we know it's overrated. Like, it's just a combination of length bonus and flow aim that just gives that map way too much PP. I think literally this is accurate, an accurate nerf. You can't see it right now, but it goes from 1.7k to 1,560. It's a 150 difference. It is a big difference, but again, I think it's respectable. I think it makes sense.
Sidetracked Day people can play it, but this nerf is kind of insane. And then you compare to people that have aim maps in their tops like White Gat or worst harder player. These guys get...
Okay, he's giving the examples of aim players like White Cat and worst HR player. But these are 1,000 and 1,100 PP plays. Do you know how much difference it is to have a 1.5k? Like, it's a 1.7k, it's still 1.5 after nerf. To 1.1? Like, that is a huge difference. I think it's still valid. Like, Sidetracked Day is still an insane score, still an insane amount of PP. It's just 1.7k is too much.
And then one of his crazy plays, Hikari, an ARA demon mode, flow aim, weird map. Like, it's not even really flow aim. It is the inconsistent angles where it's like zigzags and shit. That map gets nerfed for some reason, which also shows a weird flaw about this rework, where the nerfs and buffs seem pretty inconsistent. Another one of Cookiezi's top plays, Made of Fire, and that map gets buffed to heck, but Hikari, on the other hand, gets freaking nerfed. Like, these...
Okay, so he's comparing Hikari to Made of Fire. And again, I already, like, the first time I saw this is straight up something I pointed out in his comments because I was like, how can you compare this? Okay, so I pulled up both maps. So Hikari is 150 BPM with DT, that's 225. While Made of Fire is 162 BPM with DT, that is above 240, that's already a 15 BPM difference. That's one point, one argument. Second of all, I know these are both not your conventional stream maps, but if you look at Hikari, like, he showed a clip of Hikari and basically he showed the most difficult pattern, which is this snake pattern. Hold on. Yes, right there. That is very unconventional, very difficult. I can see that is like an insane pattern to hit. But when I just looked this play and I started this, and just look at this. Okay, it has those doubles. But aside from that, it is just... Each time it's just these longer flowing streams. Okay, the wiggles are there. But there's like maybe one or two long flowy bursts, 8-note bursts like that, and Made of Fire. Made of Fire is so much more complex than Hikari in my opinion. Also, another side note, Hikari is almost 5 minutes while Made of Fire is 1 minute, and a part of the recalculation that I didn't even notice at first, it says here, length bonus is changed, generally nerfing longer maps. So that makes sense because he just said,
like, it's a pretty inconsistent thing here. There's no really pattern behind it or no logic like how this PP work is supposed to say.
Yeah, no, so like basically he just, I don't know, maybe he just blurted it out too fast, maybe he didn't mean it like that, But saying there's no logic behind it? That's crazy. Like, behind every rework there's logic. There would not be reworks without logic. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna nerf that map because I don't like it, it's too much. You need to have like a system behind it, a reasonable system. And that's what they did. So like saying that there is no logic, like if I were a PP dev, I would be like flabbergasted. I would be like, what the fuck is he saying, you know?
But I do think that these flowaim nerfs are pretty inconsistent, first of all, and also they're pretty harsh. Like, these freaking nerfs are pretty insane. Like, a 10% nerf, 20% nerf. It's very insane here compared to the aim buffs, and maybe they should look at that.
So he just said that aim should get buffed more, and stream should get nerfed less. But like, that doesn't make sense, or is that just me? Because first of all, I think it is right, and like, you can't say I'm biased because my top plays literally get nerfed. My top plays literally get nerfed. So like, I'm very confused on why he thinks this is too harsh. I think these nerfs are valid, and wanting to buff aim even more than it already will be, like, plays are getting like plus 10, plus 20, plus 40 PP in aim from this rework. I think that's perfect. Like, a small buff, it's perfect. If you're gonna buff them more, you're only gonna give like even more towards the aim meta. Like, you're losing already from like the stream meta by nerfing all of this. But if you're gonna buff aim more, then you're losing even more from stream meta. I don't think that's what we want here, right?
100%. But if this rework does happen, then the flowaim meta is essentially going to get absolutely decimated, and we're going to see a bit more of an aim meta come back. But that's kind of my thoughts on this PP.
Also not true again. Flowaim will not be decimated. Flowaim will be close to equal of aim. Again, you see all these top plays being... Okay, they go from insane amount of PP, but they're still above 1k. They're still above 1000 PP. There's still not that many aim plays up at the level of Sidetracked Day, you know?
Anyone else who would be curious about their PPs, I looked up my own PP values, and I would lose a lot of my top plays because my top plays do have a bit of these wide angle streams, but the tapping part of it's pretty hard to do. So I'm like, okay, well, I get nerfed a lot. That kind of sucks. So personally, I don't really like the rework that much, but some of my rare aim plays like the...
Alright, so here the bias kind of comes in. You see it. And again, I lose PP as well. He loses 300 PP, he says. I lose about like 250, 210, I think. But yeah, it just comes down to right now it's really just too imbalanced. Like, for me personally, I would want to grind A more, but it just feels so less rewarding in comparison to stream. And then you have like all the people saying, oh, just buff aim. But I don't think you should do that. I don't think we should buff aim. Because like, either way, buffing aim and nerfing streams, it's both gonna have the same consequence of people, like the aim players taking it over again. But the only difference between buffing aim and nerfing speed is that when you buff aim, there will be way more 1.3k, 1.4k, 1.5k. While those numbers are just too crazy, like that's just too insane, that's too absurd. Like, I think we should start normalizing is a big word, like a weird word to use in this case, I think. But I think it's fairly okay to see the top 100, perhaps, yeah, top 100 should be accurate, like seeing them getting 1ks and 1.1ks. If you're gonna buff aim, we're gonna see so much 1.1k, 1.2k, 1.3k. I don't think that should be the case. I think that it's like just the big number, that is just so insane, like so absurd, like you're losing touch with reality somehow. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just my opinion on it. Again, I told you I would give my opinion on this as well. And this is like kind of my opinion. So yeah, I don't know if you enjoyed it. Please, I beg you, let me know in the comments what you think of this. Again, also don't go on hating on people over this. Like, again, I love my man Kapnoyr, Rion Puck. He's a goat. I love his stuff. It's just that this video and his take on this, I was just like, what? Like, what? So I just had to, you know, I really had to give my take on it as well, I feel like. But yeah, thanks for watching.